Quorum.
Quorum established with President Leonard, Secretary Lemon, Treasurer
Danny.
Harper, and Daniel.
Yeah.
I guess posting requirements were met. Everything was emailed out ahead of time. It was posted in the laundry room. So quorums and postings are met. I don't know if we're doing this officially.
Here we are.
Or properly, but so
motion to approve the January 3rd meeting minutes as sent out.
I think we need to read them or waive reading them first.
Motion to approve the waiving of the reading of the January 3rd minutes.
I'll second the waiving of the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. It's unanimous with all four board members voting in the affirmative. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we can move on to the first thing on our agenda, which is require flood reserve. No, sorry.
Remodeling quote.
Remodeling quotes. And then we got the bullet marks. Remodeling quotes. As far as I know, we have no new ones other than the WSV ones that we had last week and spoke of briefly. I did have a email from Arthur King that I forwarded to Mark and Daniel saying he didn't receive the proper paperwork, and I didn't know if I didn't have the right emails or something. I don't know if he never received it. I haven't heard from him again. I don't know if Daniel has.
This is Daniel.
Yep.
No, I haven't. I mean, he's doing some remodeling upstairs in my unit. But the last I heard from him was he was going to contact you for the
Okay, so I
information.
didn't forward him directly because there was too many links attached to the. I'm not technologically advanced enough. So if neither of you forwarded to him, then he never received, and that's why we haven't received anything back from him, I guess.
Maybe Mark can handle it.
I know Mark produced the paperwork and has the file. I would only assume it's easiest for him to forward. Mark, you all right there?
Yeah, I mean, send me anything and I'll make sure it gets out to the board. Yes.
No, what we're saying here, or what I'm saying is,
Send it to Arthur.
Arthur King has not received the redacted insurance forms that you made up in order for him to bid on it.
And so what I'm hearing is that Danny, you can't send him that PDF file. So what we would need is for you to send me Arthur King's email and I will forward him that PDF file.
Did you not receive a forward from me about a week ago from him?
Honestly, I perhaps did, but I didn't know that was what I was supposed to do and send that to him.
You know, my apologies there, maybe, or for sure. But I guess that's why we haven't heard back from him.
I can certainly send you his email after the meeting, and then you can forward it to him.
Absolutely.
I'm basically working off of an iPhone down here, so.
Okay, that I could certainly send it to Mark, his email. I mean, I was in contact with him today. He sent me some pictures and so forth. I'll send you his email after the meeting, okay?
Yeah. So
I'll send it to Mark, okay?
while we're talking about him, I mean, he seems like a nice enough guy. Every time I've ever seen him working in your place, he's a hardworking guy, but I've never seen him work with anybody. From what you know about his operation, is he capable of handling this, or is he going to sub most of it out?
Are you speaking to me?
I'm
Daniel?
asking you your opinion.
Oh, my opinion. From what I see, he has a very low workforce of just a few people, and that would be that you brought up before. The quality of the work is superb, but the production, whether he'd be able to work on several units, which at the same time, which we need, is the big question. You brought that up at the last meeting, and I don't know that answer. And that's an important,
I mean, I don't
important.
really want to work with a contractor to be a general contractor. I mean, basically, we're general contracting this. And
Right.
who we bring in, I want to be doing the work. I've told WSV that if they're not doing everything in-house, we need all the documentation on their subcontractors. And they told me there will be no subcontractors, that they have licensed electricians, they have
Well,
plumbers, they have licensed everybody.
we ought to get to the bottom of it with him, and then we can move forward right away. And if he can't do it in-house, then we need to stick with what we decided before.
Yeah, all right, so I mean, I don't know if we decided anything before.
Well, I mean, if he can't do it in-house, he doesn't have the workforce, and we can't use him. Bottom line.
I guess more or less. So if we want to continue to discuss other estimates, I mean, I did have, not that we've received really an estimate, it's been a very open check thing, but ever since Right Way received their payment for the remediation of the first storm, they decided that now's the time to contact me again. I was almost a little annoyed by that, as they were not receptive to taking my calls prior to them getting that check. Derek, that contacted me from Right Way, is the I don't know, the top of the production line. Like, he'd be the guy in charge of the remodel, and he says he really wants to give us an estimate. And I was like, well, where were you 3 weeks ago when I talked to your boss, Chris? And how come we haven't heard from you? Bottom line there is, I did tell them that unless they wanted to negotiate their remediation bills, we weren't going to deal with them any longer. And he said that he would take it to management and see if they were willing to negotiate. That was 48 hours ago, and I have heard nothing from them. So that brings me up to another happy subject, and we'll run right into it. It has nothing to do with bids. However, the Milton claim has come back from our adjuster, and we submitted a bill saying, you know, we had $66,000 to cover from the Milton flood. And he basically came back and said, heck, I think you guys need $82,000. So we're making out pretty good on the Milton flood. They're paying more than what Right Way is billing us. So it puts us ahead of the game a little bit.
Sounds good. Good news is good.
When that claim is finalized, I'll send it all on to you. I'm still negotiating a little bit with the adjuster. I feel he left out the hardware on all the lanai doors that went underwater, and they're all rusted. All of them slam closed real fast. None of the pistons work any longer. Latches don't work. They're rusting. They obviously went underwater. It wasn't in the claim, so I'm asking them to include it. Other than that, I couldn't think of anything else that they hadn't covered. So yeah, that's good news. But going back to, I guess we were talking, so the only estimates that we have received are the WSV estimates. I have learned a lot from the insurance adjuster about the claim. I'm hoping all the board members kind of look that over closely and know it almost as well as I do. But basically, each unit gets what they call the ACV value and then the recoverable depreciation value. There's on certain line items, they give you O&P. O&P is overhead and profit. And then they give you tax. So most of our bids, originally, when I looked at the sheetrock and insulation bid lines and what insurance was paying us, I think last week I said WSV's bill was, or their proposal, was $4,000 more than what insurance is giving us. I did not include at that time the O&P and sales tax. If we include the O&P and sales tax, they're right within line, almost down to the penny, from what I can figure. So I think it's a good estimate. We can't move ahead with sheetrock if we don't discuss the flood. What do you call it, Mark?
Flood resistance.
Flood resistance. So go ahead, Mark. I'll let you. This is your baby here, kind of.
I sent you guys out an email about a week ago. I did a lot of research on this. There's a lot of new technology in the marketplace to create either flood resistant or flood proof structures. The three that I gave examples of were front doors with rubber seals, the lanai doors or the sliding glass doors, where they actually, when you move the handle, the door lifts up out of the track and moves, but there's a rubber gasket all the way around those doors. And those make them are flood resistant. And also an example of a contractor who had been creating flood resistant walls by putting up a heavy plastic vapor barrier and then putting foam insulation before the drywall was put on, as opposed to the batt insulation. So it essentially created no place for the water, or ironically insects, to get in.
I mean, basically, it creates a solid wall.
It creates a solid wall, which we don't have at the front and the rear of the building. But that could be also done on the sidewalls too. That foam would provide superior insulation to the current cheapo fiberglass insulation that was in there when we started. My only point was to Rob that one of the challenges that I see with WSV quotes is they say front door, back door, and insulation. Those are line items to them. And I don't think that's good enough. I would like to see specifics on those things to see what they're actually providing. I don't want to wait and find out when they show up. For example, I don't want a wooden door. They make doors now out of fiberglass and metal that are clearly designed to be flood resistant and impact resistant. I don't know what they're going to provide if it just says door.
So I'll just interrupt for a quick sec on you. Sorry. I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, it's a very vague, I don't want to say it's a vague estimate. Before I would sign that contract with them for that kind of money, I would want to know exactly what they're putting in all instances also. No doubt about it. I want to know what doors they're putting in the back. I want to know what doors they're putting in the front. They're going to have to give us specs on everything. And I believe they need to do that just to get the building permits. But no, I agree at 100%. No way are we signing that contract with them based on what they've given us. It's just simply a quote. Obviously, they feel they can provide what we need within that quote, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what we want them to put in. So,
well, and I'm thinking that what they're going to do is they're going to replace it with like. So, for example, if
but like is not impact resistant.
Right.
So it can't be replaced with like. They have to put in impact resistant.
Right.
It does say impact resistant. So, it's going to be probably the lesser end of impact resistant doors, but they're not going to be aluminum frame, single pane glass. They're going to be impact resistant. I mean, that is definitely specified.
That's a fair point. I know, for example, if I bought a garage door tomorrow, if I called up a garage door guy, he's going to say, well, I've got 2 or 3 of them. This is your basic garage door. This is your insulated garage door. This is your insulated garage door with windows.
Absolutely. I mean, you go to Home Depot, they got good, better, and best.
Right.
You know, I don't know which level we're shopping at here.
That's the challenge.
And I don't know if we can afford best. I hope that we're above the good. You know, we're in that better range.
I'm a big proponent of shopping for the middle one.
Yeah. And again, shopping within our budget is what I'm more at right now, as far as rebuilding.
Right.
You know, if we go with flood doors and flood resistance and all that, that's clearly not in the claim. So clearly we're going to have to come up with more money because it's going to cost more. That we can't afford, you know, the Ferrari for the what we have here. You know,
right, but we don't even know what we don't know. When we sent WSV the piece of paper that said what we wanted them to quote, it includes in that line item, please quote flood resistant.
No, that material was never. I talked to WSV before you produced that paper.
Oh,
And they were working on their numbers before our document was produced.
okay.
They're not really bidding it on that. Those, what were the numbers you produced or the specs you produced were going to go out to WSV and Mr. King, right? Is that his name?
Arthur King.
Arthur King.
That's correct.
Arthur didn't get them, and I never sent them to WSV because I knew they were already in the workings, and I didn't want them to start refiguring. I wanted to get an idea. If we do want to bid the waterproof doors, we'll get bids for waterproof doors. I'm happy with entertaining the idea. I'm just saying, and I want the board to know that it's going to be money we don't have. Without any doubt, it's not covered in the claim because it's definitely an upgrade. They don't cover code, even though we can get code doors for what they are covering, which is nice. And it's going to hang the project up because if we need to come up with funding and do a special assessment, it's 2 weeks notice after we get all the bids in. So we need to get bids in. Then we have to have a meeting on whether or not we want to entertain the bids. And then we have to give 2 weeks notice on the fact that we're going to do a special assessment. We can't do a special assessment on speculation. David told me we need exact numbers. So, again, that process is going to hold us up. I don't know if we want to be held up. Because realistically, we don't know, and it should be investigated, but how much, if we do that and spend that money, will we actually save on flood insurance? Will they give us a break on our flood insurance on our 1960s buildings? Or are we going to pay just as much in flood insurance? If we're going to spend just as much in flood insurance, other than the discomforts of being displaced, let them rebuild us next time it floods.
I can make the same argument if I was to go and sell my unit in 5 or 10 years and I said that this unit has been built to flood resistant specs. That's going to be a whole lot more valuable.
Agreed. You know, that's a good argument. You know, that's why we're here to debate it. So, you know, I don't know how we want to go. I don't really want to hold things up, although I'm going to be leaving in March, and you know, for me, it won't really matter if my place isn't done until next December. From what I'm, you know, told from most of the constituents around here right now, nobody wants to really wait. Everybody's very anxious to get back in. So, I mean, I guess apart from anything else to do at this point, I would ask the board members involved here today, what they think, if we should pursue watertighting the place or move forward on, repairing as per insurance claim. Arnold?
Yeah, so, well, my thought is, we should move forward with what we have. It's gonna be impact resistant, because that's code now, and we can get a quote on flood resistant. That sounds awesome, but not to continue holding up beyond where we are now. I mean, we've been dragging this for a while, waiting on this insurance money. It's here. We need to get these quotes in and get moving forward with the rebuild.
Well,
That's
and
my
I don't disagree, but I would say that, what is the time difference between putting in fiberglass batting or wrapping the exposed studs with plastic, putting in a vapor barrier, a sealed vapor barrier, and then running through with foam? It's what, an extra day or two?
So Mark and I spoke briefly earlier today on this subject. After talking to Mark, I reached out to WSV to see if they could guide us a little bit in what we're talking about. I'm just looking to see if they got.
And maybe they'll say it's a dumb idea, or maybe they'll say, "Oh, we've been doing that for 5 years now for all of our rebuilds."
No, I agree, Mark. I think we should get an estimate from them and see where we are. But if they come back and say, well, yeah, we can do that, but those doors would be 3 months out on special order,
Right.
that would be a problem.
So that, I mean, that the regular doors are 6 weeks, just to throw that out there. So even if we're going to go regular doors, it's going to be 6 weeks. But that said, if we go regular doors within the regular opening and we're not flood proofing the building, we could still go ahead with the sheetrock portion and have the walls finished, because it's not going to change the opening. They're just replacing doors within the opening. It would be as if we were replacing the doors without the flood ever happening.
Yeah, if I may say something.
Yeah, Daniel, I was going to get to you because I wanted your opinion on my question.
It wouldn't hurt to get some information, a price on flood resistant and doors, but I want to see some data that really shows evidence that it's not just something to waste your money on it, that it's not effective. Let's,
What is the difference
obviously.
between flood resistance and flood proof? I mean,
Yes, nothing is flood proof.
Right, but let's see how is it flood? I understand the materials. I understand all that. But I'd like to see some evidence, some data that shows that it's flood resistant. Obviously
Those were
we're
the
gonna get.
videos I sent you. One of the videos has somebody actually filling a tank with a door behind it.
Yeah, the
And
videos were good.
It won't hurt. It won't hurt to get a price on it. Obviously, let's get a price on it. Well, and then we can look at it the next meeting, but we need to move fast. Obviously, we're going to have hurricane resistant doors, of course, and we know that, but it wouldn't hurt to just get a quick price on it. Why not? And let's see if it's in the budget.
I'm
Okay.
not making it, if it's a quick price. I don't want to wait until next month's meeting to make a decision on
Well,
how.
yeah,
So
right. I want to make decision now.
I would like to, but we can't make the decision now if we're saying we're going to get prices on this other stuff. The next decision to make is whether we're going to accept the sheetrock estimate or not. So, if we're not going to obviously sheetrock, if we're going to spray foam and seal the walls. So,
And is the spray foam, how is it, the chemicals that some spray foam could be hazardous to our health in the future? We have data on that?
The high density spray foam nowadays is pretty much the common in most home building.
Yeah.
You don't see too much back insulation anymore because it is waterproof, mold proof, mildew, resistant.
Well,
It's got the characteristics. I mean, the funny thing would be if we spray foam these walls and a flood comes and the whole building just floats away like a boat.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like you said, it'd be nice if we knew how much it is now, and we need to act. So I'm not sure what to do at this point. I know that we need to move forward somehow, but I know we can't get the price today. So maybe we set a deadline, within a few days. If we can't get it, then we need to move forward or something. I don't know.
Again, I did reach out to WSB. They haven't responded to my message. I'll send an email, which, sometimes works a little bit better because more people can see them.
Or we can just see what everyone's opinion is right now. Go with the
Well,
impact or
we
wait.
just did. Honestly, Arnold gave his, he thought we should move forward, but yet still get an estimate. And you're pretty much saying the same thing. I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's
Yes.
what you're saying. I kind of feel like, yeah, I mean, I am here and I'm hearing it from the people that come into the parking lot. And I feel because we had flood insurance, which is paying to put us back to the way we were, then that's what we should move forward and do. Improvements would be great. I know it's going to be special assessment and additional money. There's no way this claim is going to cover it. So I would vote to move forward and
Okay.
agree with this.
Well, we're talking about hurricane-proof, impact-resistant doors,
We're,
obviously.
to be honest with you right now, I'm not even talking about that proposal. In my opinion, the next step is to sheetrock the walls and insulate them. The finish work has to come after that.
Well, I mean, in the
So we
future, there
actually
will be
have
hurricane.
we have a little bit of time to think about the $400,000 proposal. We have a little bit of time to question them on the doors. The next step would be to sheetrock.
Okay, I vote yes on
I
that.
think if we're gonna move along, we approve the quote for sheetrock, get them in here sheetrocking, and at that time, they can still work on the price. They're not gonna get in here tomorrow, but at least we're on it. We can start, even if we don't do the outside walls. Even, if we're talking to them about it, let's entertain the idea. We'll talk to them about it. We're talking about the same people doing the work at this point. But I would like everybody to know that we're making progress and not holding it up.
Okay.
I like the idea, Mark, 100%.
And if they were standing there right now and I said to them, how much more to put up a vapor barrier and spray foam instead of fiberglass foam? And they said, $500, I'd write them a check right then and there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I think you're going to find it's a lot more than $500.
But 10,000?
I mean, we don't know, and I mean I'm even talking per unit, and we're 15 units across. So it's worth getting the number, and I guess it would be a change order to that quote because that quote includes the installation.
No, because all the quote says is insulation. It doesn't even say how.
I'm pretty sure that is true. That is true. So we should ask them on their specs there too. So let's recap. What are we doing?
Let's sheetrock. Let's get sheetrock going.
Let's sheetrock it.
All right. So
I don't mind being the lone voice in the wilderness here, but when they get there with the sheetrock, tell them to call me.
you want your wall spray foamed?
If I can, absolutely. It's just a check.
Well,
Absolutely.
let's see what it is right away.
I mean, there's nothing saying you can't do it. They're definitely going to say you can do it. It's it's how much it costs. So if you want to hold off on making any kind of a resolution at this point, I think we could probably still do it through email like we have in the past with no objections.
Well, we're hearing I think the consensus of the board is no, don't stop, move forward.
I think that's what I'm hearing.
And I'm good with
I'm,
that.
my personal belief is I'm restrained to what the insurance company is giving me. I'm trying to be, in my mind, fiscally responsible and not putting additional costs on anybody. That said, that doesn't mean that you personally can't put those costs into your unit. So I don't see any reason why, if you want spray foam, we'll tell WSV, unit 52 wants, or whatever you are, 48 wants spray foam.
Yep.
Again, there was going to be, we talked about it last week, each unit's going to get a bill somewhere along the line because we're not covered for all the stairs and, the things that we talked about last time. So if yours is to spray foam your walls, kudos for you. I wouldn't, in any way prevent you from doing that on your own. I will pursue for the association the same spray foaming, which would end up again being a change order on the proposal we're getting ready to approve. I don't want to approve a dollar amount without better specs. No, I'm sorry. I'll approve the dollar amount, but I want better specs before I actually sign and say, go.
Right. We don't have the make model of the doors colors.
No, again, Mark, we're not voting or talking about.
Drywall.
Oh, just
We're
just
talking about
the, okay.
a $97,000
Just sheetrock.
drywall bill. It's
And what was that sheetrock quote for? I can
I'm
look
getting
it up.
it right now. Hold on 1 second. Okay. It's WSV quote number QU-0205 for 15 units to insulate and drywall mud tape texture to match. The total amount for the 15 units is $97,907.70.
I'm writing this down. 97,000, say again?
9-7.
9790770.
Did we,
They're asking for a 1/3 deposit, which I'm okay with, of 32,000.
we never got a quote from Carpenter Kings, correct, Rob?
We have not received that quote.
We
Well,
need to-
I don't want to say we didn't receive a quote. There is out there somewhere. And if we want to look at it, maybe the secretary can pull it up. He did give us a pretty broad quote that was broken up and it had a line item for sheetrock times 15 units.
And what was that be?
I've never printed that. And again, I only have my iPhone to look at. So I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it up.
Well, if it came through to me,
This was your guide, Daniel. You were supposed to have it. I'm calling you out on that. Let me see if I can find it.
Hold on a second.
what's the name of his business?
Carpenter Kings.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. But
Hold on. I have something here right in front of me.
It doesn't come up on mine. I do kind of recall seeing it, but I'm not sure who sent it or where it came from because he doesn't come up on my list.
Replace all drywall 4 foot. 15 units in lower units, finish tire breakdown $4,250 each. I have it right in front of me.
For
Per
drywall
unit.
tape texture insulation.
Replace all drywall 4 foot high in lower units, finish entire unit with knockdown texture. And then That's $4,250 each times 15.
That's 63,000
Right.
approximately.
That's a lot
But he
better
doesn't,
price.
he doesn't mention insulation in any way.
Yeah, but the insulation wouldn't be the
It's part
difference
of the
of
quote.
$30,000.
I don't know. I have no idea. So again, it goes back to it's a better quote. Okay, great. But he's a one-man operation. Can he do the project? And we don't know that it's that much of a better quote until we know how much he's going to charge us for the installation.
Why don't I give him a call? You want to hold off? Can we do the rest by email or not?
I guess we can hold off a little bit and
I've got the quote in front of me, everything. Replace
Can you
all
send over to Mark's
drywall,
email?
4 foot high,
does he have
painting the
insulation? No,
downstairs.
forget about the painting because that's in the next bid. We can talk about painting when it gets there. Right now,
Okay.
the only thing I want to talk about is drywall, insulation, texture.
Okay, well, he's got the texture in there.
Right?
He doesn't have the, he doesn't have the insulation,
Okay.
but I can make
Look,
a phone
I'm
call
all
right
for
now.
saving $3,400 if we can get the sheetrock done for $34,000. I'm all for saving that money.
Absolutely. We're
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at 4250 times 15. What is that, like 60 some thousand dollars?
63,750.
Well, why don't I just make a phone call as we speak?
I don't know if he can give you a number for installation
I
as
mean,
we
might.
speak,
Let me look right this second. Go move on to some other business for a moment. Let me try him, okay?
this is really our major business here is deciding where we're
Okay,
going.
I'm calling him as we speak. Well, let me try. Or maybe you can try. It's easier for you. Let me give you the number. It's hard for me to dial from here.
We're not gonna call contractor in the middle of the meeting.
Let's not worry
Okay,
about
all
that.
right, fine.
So Daniel, let me ask you, we're going to move on for the moment.
What do you want to do?
The roofer, have you ever heard back from the roofer?
Yes, I talked to him today. Gage, he went over and looked at the buildings. He said that the gutter guy can make it happen, and he's sending them out next week to get an estimate this coming week to
Is
get
he
an
going to
estimate.
give us a number for repitching the roof?
No, he says that
That's
he
what we
didn't give.
wanted him to do.
What's that?
That's what we wanted him to do.
Well, no, he didn't give me that. I'll have to get back to him on that. Call
All
him up.
All right.
We already have a quote for the gutters. There's never been an issue about that price, and it was
Running the
first quote.
gutters to the back of the building. Do we have that?
We
There
want
was-
to know how much it's going to be to repitch the roof.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Let me give him a call.
What, I lost my agenda, Mark.
Well, we had a motion on the floor without second, which was to approve the sheetrock and insulation
All right,
quote from WSV. Was there a second on that motion?
Who made it?
I think you did.
Okay, so then I need a second. Anybody want to second the motion to approve the quote for sheetrock now and move forward?
Yeah, I'm going to second it. I'm ready to get moving forward with this. So,
All right. So I have a second. And now board members, anybody in favor of moving forward with the quote at this time? I vote aye.
I vote aye.
Okay.
Arnold,
yes.
Daniel, or are you on the phone?
I'm good.
I mean, I know it cuts Arthur out of the sheetrock end of it.
But I mean,
Not
it cuts,
really giving him
but
the
my
other-
point is if it saves us $20,000-$30,000 and we have to wait one
Yeah,
day,
but you also have to realize that this is money that's being given to us and it's within our budget.
it doesn't matter whether it's given.
Well, doesn't it? Because this money is given to each individual unit. And
Okay.
what are we going to do with all the surplus? I mean, it'd be nice to have surplus, but that's going to be a discussion we're going to have later. If we do have surplus, where does it go? Do we
I'm-
return it to the rightful owner of the unit that it's actually been dedicated to? It's gonna be an accounting nightmare.
I'm into waiting a couple days, waiting till Sunday, and let me make a
Well,
phone call and get
With
it in
that,
writing.
sorry, but with that, the motion passes 3-1.
Okay, all right,
Sorry, but we're gonna move forward with the quote that we have.
okay. So be it.
So be it. Motion passes.
All right.
Next item on the agenda. Specific door locks, paint colors on quotes.
Yeah, all that's, I mean, we want to deal with that now. It's just a piece of reality that we're not getting any specifics on these WSV quotes. And we've
but-
got to hold their feet to the fire.
And again, I think we can ask them for the specifics and, they may change their numbers as we tell them, we want this and we want that. We're definitely not moving forward. I'm okay with moving forward on an insulation and drywall bid because it's pretty cut and dry. And we're only talking,
No pun intended.
yeah. The 400 and, almost 500,000, I'm not ready to sign anything for a $500,000 without more details than what's on that form. So I'm with you 100%. They're going to give us all the breakdowns on everything before we sign that one off on them.
And we've got a quote now, 97 drywall insulation.
So
And I'm going to count on you. I'm going to depend on you to go to them and say, hey, what's the difference if we were to go from cheapy Corning insulation to real insulation? And if they say $10,000, then you're going to email that out to us and we can
I've
have.
already got that bee in their bonnet. As I said, I sent that text message out right after you spoke to me. And
Yep.
hopefully they'll be working on that and maybe I'll have an answer tomorrow. I do expect to see him on the laundry room project. So just with the locks, little tidbit note, I noticed on the new floodplain for Milton that they're giving us extra money for all the door hardware because they expected it to have been removed and left on the floor, therefore flooding in the next flood. So now they're paying for it to be replaced. So the people that lost their toilet bowls, you're actually getting covered for new toilet bowls because they were detached and floated away in the second flood. So
Mine did.
the second flood claim is, covering some really good things that we didn't think so. Paint colors. I was told by WSV that when it came to paint, they would be matching color to what's there. Obviously, half the wall is there. So
That's awesome.
they can't necessarily tell us what color they're going to paint because every unit's going to be different depending upon what color the unit is. That's what I'm told.
Excellent.
Back to this insulation for 1 second. I've done a lot of insulation in my life, insulating houses with fiberglass and everything. And it would have cost for that unit between $1,000 to $1,500 to put the insulation in those areas on the downstairs per unit. It would have been the most.
You do realize all the walls are insulated, all four. There's 1 inch of insulation in the side walls, under the stairs.
Right. You're
Well,
looking at around
just saying.
$1,500, maybe $2,000 per unit. You're looking at the most.
Okay.
You're looking at, say, even $2,000 times 15.
Okay.
So there's 30. And how much did they want? What was the difference?
About 30.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, move forward. You already voted. It's okay. Fine.
Well, insulation, basically, insurance is giving us $6,800, $6,800 for the one building.
Per unit, you're talking unit
Not
or
per
the whole
unit,
building?
for the whole building.
Well,
Holy
that's
cow.
not very much.
And $5,400 for the other building.
It's not much.
No, I know it's not much, and that's why I'm trying to be fiscally responsible.
Okay.
Staying
Well,
within
we
what
already
we-
voted anyway. It's okay. Let's move forward. What else?
South Building Erosion Project.
Okay, So Joe passed on his information, his contact information to me to contact the soil people and have it delivered. And I, as a good delegator, contacted Palmer Management to have them deal with it so that they could pay the bill directly and nobody had to be stuck with it, which they were supposed to have done. I'm giving them the benefit right now because Mary Ann's daughter was in a horrific car accident apparently in their office, and Mary Ann's been out of the office caring for her. So I didn't want to put too much pressure on Anthony and push him over the edge there. I guess the soil did not get ordered because it's not in the parking lot. My orders were to let me know when it would be delivered. I would put a cone in the spot with a tarp for them to dump it on. That all said, because I don't really feel like doing it, and I know Joe doesn't really feel like doing it, I contacted our landscapers to see if they could supply a couple laborers with a couple wheelbarrows and move the soil around for us, which they said they could do or would do. So I haven't heard back from him on what he wants to charge us for said laborers, but we do have a landscape budget that we can kind of push that off on. And I think if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to continue to pursue that avenue.
It's the right thing to do.
But the soil is ordered or on order. It's going to be here. Hopefully none of us have to deal with it and it can be taken care of for us.
Do we need a motion to approve the dirt, or has that already been
That's
done?
already been done. Apparently
Great.
approved dirt months ago, but didn't get it all.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we hire additional laborers to help move the dirt.
So I don't want, we're having somebody we're already contracted with do it. I don't know if we really need a motion to do that.
I agree with you, Rob. I mean, we already have the landscapers. We have a budget, and they can do it within the budget. I think we're good.
It's not a land, we're not hiring laborers. We're just bringing our landscape contractor in to do a little project,
Right.
but we're supplying the
I'm not
material.
on video anymore.
So if we need a motion, I'll second it. And I think everybody's in agreement. So we could do it officially that way.
Well, sure. We can have it in the books, and if we need it, we've got it.
I made the motion. Arnold seconded it. I vote aye.
Aye. Daniel votes aye for a change.
All right. So everybody votes aye on that. So we're good to hire our own landscape contractor that's already contracted and vetted, supply a couple laborers to spread soil out back. The whole thing is the vetting process and making sure that they're properly insured and they don't pick up a wheelbarrow and throw their back out and sue us. So
Right.
that's why I don't want just any laborer off the street here. All right, so the next thing would be our washers and dryers.
Yes.
I think everybody's pretty much in agreement that we want the same Speed Queen commercial grade washers that we had before. They were durable, they were easy to repair, and they didn't actually need repair near as often as the fancier ones we've had previously.
I can't tell you how many washer dryer videos I watched in order to come up with that recommendation, the TC5 and the DC5 models.
Which are the same ones as we had.
Right.
I am 100% for voting yes, let's get the same machines. My problem is, and again, I'm trying to be financially responsible all across the board, but insurance is not covering for covering the machines. They consider them contents, and there's no coverage for content.
What are we doing?
So
Dinner tonight?
no washers and dryers being paid for.
Then go out there.
I thought we had money in
We're
reserves,
not going to look at the
and
other.
we do have some money in reserves, but it's only $2,400, which is what, about enough for one machine? I never saw a total on the
6,000.
6,000 altogether, and we have
No, they
2,400 to go towards that.
Good time.
Obviously, we have plenty of money in the bank, and we could just say, let's buy them and worry about it in the end.
What time are you going?
I don't know if that's fiscally responsible. We need them,
No,
so I don't know. I guess I'd say, what do you guys feel? How does everybody feel? Do we just buy them and worry about it later?
check about the
Or do we do an assessment for new machines?
Well, I think we should
I'd say we
look
buy
at
them and
buying
worry
it.
about it later. Motion to, I want a motion to approve the purchase of Speed Queen washer and dryer, 2 of each.
Yeah, I'll second it
Here?
because I believe we may have a little overage after the second claim to maybe cover this. If not, then we can assess the later
I
date.
honestly do think that we will have extra money. Again, the laundry room they gave us.
She's put her head back in the book.
I got it here. Hold on one sec.
Should have. I would have.
Stick it up.
I'm throwing it out more for discussion than anything because we don't have the money.
Strong woman, she'll get over it.
Maybe for her last one.
One more page.
Well, there's a motion on the floor that's been
Hold on.
seconded.
We're in discussion still.
Okay.
Okay. So the total the insurance is giving us with overhead and profit, and we are general contracting it ourselves. So we're kind of entitled to a lot of that overhead and profit, would be in the neighborhood of $18,000. So since our contract with WSV is only 9,800, and we're clearing a pretty solid profit margin on that laundry room, I also vote in favor of purchasing new machines. So, all in favor?
Aye. Daniel says aye.
All right, so new machines will be purchased. I'll send the order to Palmer to get them in here as soon as the floor is painted. All right. HOA board training. HOA board training is only for those people newly elected to the board this year. Those of you that were not elected this year, that were elected last year, you don't really have to worry about it until next year when you're re-elected to the board. So the only ones that have to take the HOA board training is Rose and myself. Rose isn't present, so can't even really talk. She said she had already signed up for it anyway. And I will take care of me and my end of that. You guys are certainly can take it, but you don't have to. And quite honestly, if you're not going to run for the board next year, I wouldn't bother. But hopefully you all are, and you'll take the training, and we'll hold the end there. All right. That should be the last thing on the agenda. So with that,
Meeting. Palmer doesn't like this meeting.
oh,
Date and time.
Well, that's
Correct.
tough.
we did ask Palmer to join the meeting, and he said that he would periodically, and in this meeting is one of them, have problems with our chosen time slot. He asked if we could do it any other day of the week, and he's even accepting to go, later, 5, 6 o'clock at night. I know my schedule, I said the only day I could do it was Friday. I could be somewhat flexible if we went later, but I guess that's open for discussion.
Well, it doesn't do me any well because I don't get home until 7, which is 10 p.m. your time. So
yeah. So I don't know what to do about that because I do like their input, but these meetings go fairly well too.
we've done 12 and they've been to 2. So, I mean, we've been okay.
And I kind of agree with that. So I think for now, let's hold our regular time and meetings. I do think that maybe we'll call one before, the next first Friday, just probably to approve this next proposal that we need to entertain for the doors and windows and finish work.
Sure.
But I don't know if I mentioned it. I was told that the kitchen windows will be in by Friday, a week from today. So
Nice.
hope to start immediately after that. So, yeah, now with them getting the sheetrock, hopefully things are going to start moving along quickly. So with that, I know that there's some owners.
Rose just showed up.
I know there's some owners in the audience. I thank you for joining the meeting and, staying quiet during it. Do you have any comments or statements? Would you like to speak? Joe?
You had mentioned the roof and the pitching. So I'm just a little confused on that. So where do we stand? Are we going to be able to have that fixed before the rainy season?
So we want to fix it. We're going to fix it. We know there's an issue. We're just, right now, the board is a little torn on putting gutters on or repitching the roof the way it should have been done. I don't want to say should have been done saying they did something wrong, just the way it should have been done if everybody had their.
We need to get the
in a
numbers
perfect
together.
world. Let's just put it that way.
Rob, we need to get the numbers, like you said, so we can compare it from, if a gutter company can run it,
Look,
and how much will that cost compared to pitching it?
Galloway originally, look at it this way. Galloway originally threw out there, it'll be about half the price of what I charge you to do the roof. All right, so they charge us, let's just round numbers, $60,000 to do the roof. So $30,000 to repitch it. Nobody can quote us on these. These are round, quick numbers. So $30,000 to repitch it. It's going to be about $15,000 to do the gutters, between putting the gutters on and draining it away. Best case scenario from the estimates we've got. Half of repitching the roof. When we did the roof, we did it with insurance proceeds. We had a roof reserve line. We did not use the roof reserve line. So right now, that roof reserve line has $15,000 or $16,000 in it. Half the price of repitching it. So if we have to come up with $15,000 to put gutters on, we don't have a reserve line for gutters. We can't use the roof line for that. So if we use the $15,000 or $16,000 in reserve and add the same gutter price onto that, that's $30,000. Why wouldn't we pitch the roof? We need the numbers to make an informed decision. That's the way I see it. I think that's the way I see it unfolding. We have $16,000 towards repitching the roof. We have nothing towards gutters. So give me the numbers on repitching the roof, so we can compare that to putting gutters on and piping the gutters to the back.
Right.
So once we have those numbers in, we can make an informed decision on how we're going to proceed.
And there's one factor that you haven't brought up, and that I know is
Okay.
You have a perfectly good roof now.
That's right.
That doesn't leak. And
That's
then
right. That's why we could restart the reserves. It's a 20-year.
No. Let me finish. Then you tear into it, and you repitch the roof. Okay, so you're going to repitch it. So you're going to tear into this perfectly good roof. That might be some complication. Mind you, they're going to guarantee it.
So long as they guarantee it.
But I don't like tearing into something that's working and redoing it.
It was done wrong. It needs to be pitched to the back. I want to entertain the area. We're not going to go forward.
Well, we're going to look at that. We're going to get a quote on it, and we'll look at it.
Yep.
And then we'll make a decision.
So Claire, did that answer your question, or are you still confused?
No, it helps. I'm obviously not on the board, but I wouldn't trust additional gutters in the long run. I think pitching in the back is the right thing to do. So that's just my say.
Okay.
And, you know, you're not on the board, your opinion is appreciated. And, you know, so that you know, this in particular board member feels the same way. And I know that there are other board members that feel the same way. I won't speak for them. I'll let them speak up if they wish. But we're not going to make a decision until we have the numbers.
Okay, thank you.
We have contacted the roofer to provide those numbers. He just hasn't yet.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for going in and helping me with my unit.
You're welcome. Sorry for the puddles.
Me too.
That should have been caught. But somebody should have known about that. But besides the point.
Claire, did your humidifier clean that up pretty quickly?
I'm sorry, say that again?
It's bone dry in her unit. Yeah, it was dry before I went in.
Okay, because you should have a humidifier running 24/7, Claire, in there.
I do, and thank you, Mark, for doing that. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you and to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
She does, yeah. It's all good. Diane, you have anything you want to add?
No, no. I
Okay.
just feel the roof should be pitched to the back.
Your opinion is noted. Okay, Rose.
Rose did join us.
I know, I'm sorry. I got hung up with something. Very sorry.
No worries. Would you like to add anything to the meeting before we call it to adjourn?
Oh, you know how I feel about the roof, which
Yeah.
should be pitched to the back properly.
So we're going to continue to, Daniel will speak with Galloway once again, reinforcing our
I got it.
want for
I understand.
a
I will
price.
contact him again.
And we will talk about that probably through emails, but there won't be any decisions made before the next meeting. So talking of the next meeting, I guess we will do it the first Friday of next month. I don't know what that date is.
March 4.
So March 4 p.m. Put it on your
No,
calendar.
March 7th.
Oh,
What?
4 is a Wednesday.
Well.
2025.
Correct. I'm looking at my calendar.
Oh, you're right. March 7. My bad. All right. Thank you. Good
Okay.
catch.
So March 7th at 4. Very good. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn? I'll make a motion to adjourn. Anybody want to second it?
Second.
I'll second.
Everybody seconded.
I have a second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Meeting adjourned.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you for all of the work you're doing, gentlemen and lady.
Of course, board members, if anybody has any questions or wants to talk, please give me a call.
Rob, I'll catch up with you over the weekend, catch up with what I missed.
Cooper's waiting for you.
I've got the treats. Thank you, and again, I apologize.
Have
Thanks,
a wonderful
everyone.
weekend all.
You but take care.
Goodbye.
Good night.